Hi, my name is Emma, and let's talk spooky stuff. Hi guys, welcome back. This is another recommendations video. If you haven't seen one of these before, I've left a playlist for them down in the down bar. Definitely check them out. You guys seem to love them. What this is over on Instagram, I ask you what kind of films you're looking for. That be a mood, a theme, or a film that's similar to another film. And you guys send me lots of requests and I try and fulfill those needs, the needs you have with the right film. Today I'm excited because I found some real niche ones, but also some general ones that I think if you haven't seen, this will give you the good push to see. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram if you do want to be involved in one of these in the future. Don't forget that, because that is where I ask these questions. It's just an easier platform to use for this kind of thing. Before we get started, you guys are always asking me how I watch movies that aren't available in my country, and the answer is today's sponsor, and that's Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. They encrypt all of your information online and help you surf the internet safely and protect your privacy. But my favorite feature is that they unlock geo-blocked content. So say if I wanted to watch a TV series or a movie that is only available in one country's Netflix, I just flick a switch and now it's available. I have been using Surfshark for over a year out of my own pocket. I wouldn't recommend something to you guys that I didn't believe fully and I didn't also use myself. It has been crucial for me to access content I can't in my country, and it's the most user-friendly VPN I've ever used. Surfshark also have a 30-day risk-free money-back guarantee, so if you aren't satisfied with a product, you can get your money back within 30 days, no questions asked. To unlock content from around the world right now, use the link down in the description bar and use my code SPOOKY for 85% off and 3 months free. Thank you so much to Surfshark for supporting creators like me, and let's get on with the video. Jasmine asked for dystopian horror, similar to the platform. I do have one movie for you, but first, I do want to harp on about 2 TV shows that cover dystopian. They do the best job. There is nothing else that comes close, and the first one is The Handmaid's Tale. This is hyped for a reason. It's one of the most thrilling and heart-wrenching looks at society. Based on the book of the same name by Margaret Atwood, the TV show stars Elizabeth Moss as a handmaiden, a woman who can bear children in a dystopian future where society is separated by class and by religious ideas. The show is completely brutal, and something that people don't realize is that every aspect of the show has real-life origins. It's based on political and religious history. If you haven't watched it yet, you need to give it a go. Please just give it a try. I swear you'll be changed. But the second show I want to talk about completely outdid themselves on the dystopian future. If you think it can't get much more depressing and dark than The Handmaid's Tale, you haven't checked out Black Mirror. This is an anthology horror drama TV show where each episode centers around a futuristic tech development. It may not be pure dystopian, but it rarely ends well, and it's full of shocking moments and impending dread, if that's your thing. And of course, I'm gonna give you a movie recommendation. I know you didn't ask for TV shows, but that is really my favorite dystopian content out there. But I guess The Lobster by Yorgos, it technically is dystopian, right? This is a dark comedy about a future where people are made to pick a romantic partner within 45 days or transformed into animals. Yeah, I said what I said. It may not be as dark as the platform, but it's definitely a torturous idea. Just Horror Stuff asked if I have any recommendations in terms of horror attractions and Halloween attractions, and I definitely do, so buckle in. If you haven't seen Haunt, I was really impressed with this one. The film is about a group of friends that go into a mysterious, extreme haunted house. Extremity is another one I thought was pretty good. I'm actually surprised that this has such a low rating. It's about a woman who is obsessed with darkness and commits to an extreme haunt. The movie is surprisingly heartfelt and is about facing your own demons. The House is October-Built is another haunt-focused flick about 5 friends who are on the hunt for the ultimate haunted attraction, but end up becoming the hunted. And of course, Hell House from 2015 is a new favorite for many people. This one is about a haunted attraction that results in tragedy, and a documentary crew that tries to seek out the truth. But I'm also going to recommend some documentaries that you may not have heard of, and one actually has the same name to the last one I was just talking about. Hell House. Hell House from 2001 is a crazy documentary about a haunt that is created every year by members of the Trinity Church in Texas. It's fascinating stuff and highly controversial, so you'll have to check that one out and let me know what you think. One that's a little bit closer to home, my home, is Spookers, which is a New Zealand documentary about a family of oddballs that run a scare park and their connection through horror. Hopefully there's one or two you haven't seen in there, especially the documentaries, which I highly recommend, especially Hell House. That is very interesting stuff. Next, Seb asked if there's another documentary that will make him go WTF. I believe this is because I spoke about the imposter in one of my other recommendation videos, and I know he watched that. I do have some recommendations for you, but because they are WTF recommendations, I'm not going to go into what they are. Instead, I'm just going to give you the titles, and you're going to have to trust me since you like the imposter so much. Just trust me, go in blind. But I will go through the titles from most WTF to least WTF. Starting with the most intense, Dear Zachary, then Abducted in Plain Sight, The Woman Who Wasn't There, and There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. And if you don't have a pen or paper right now, just screenshot this as a reminder. Next, I was asked if I have any recommendations for good serial killer content, whether that be fictional or non-fiction, and I'm having a moment with documentaries today, so let's start with talking about Aileen. I highly recommend watching the Nick Broomfield Aileen documentaries. They're about female serial killer Aileen Wuornos. He did a 1992 doco called Aileen, The Selling of a Serial Killer, that a follow-up Aileen, Life and Death of a Serial Killer. The reason I recommend both of these documentaries is because Nick Broomfield is one of the best documentary makers and so underrated, but it's because of the way he attaches to the subject, and there is no documentary about a killer quite like the ones he does, because he actually became friends with the subject and he was one of the only people she spoke to. It is insane, the footage he got and the perspective he got. There is nothing like it out there. I highly recommend watching those two, and then as a follow-up, watch Monster. I recommend doing it this way because you'll be able to truly appreciate Charlize Theron's portrayal of Aileen. It will blow you away how accurate she is. I promise this triple feature will be worth your time. But it's not all doom and gloom. I'm gonna leave you something a little bit lighter and a little bit more kooky. Serial Mum is a great dark comedy directed by John Waters. The film is about a mother who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty to protect her family. I know I'm a channel that's focused on the dread and the doom and the gloom, but sometimes I need a chuckle too. My next question by Bra, I'm just gonna call you Bra, asked for something sad because they want to have a cry. I hope you're okay, but sometimes it is good to let it out. One of the saddest movies, let alone horror movies, I've ever seen is The Orphanage from 2007. This Spanish film will leave you in tears. The film is about a former orphan that raises her adopted son with her husband in the orphanage she was raised in. But things go from bad to worse when her son develops imaginary friends and suddenly vanishes. Luna asked with the magic word for religious horror movies, and it got me thinking, should I do another 20-something list on religious horror movies? I've done cults, I've done stalker films and religious films, although it kind of does tie into the cult films. One of my favorite aspects to focus on, so I think I'm going to do that. Let me know if you guys are into that down in the comments. But I'm not going to just skim over it. I will give you some recommendations. Wicker Man is always a go-to, and of course I'm talking about the original, not the one with the bees. The film is about a policeman that is sent to a Scottish island to search for a missing girl. He soon finds out that the small village has strong pagan beliefs and plans to carry out a taboo ritual. Something that is less spoken about is Requiem. This is an interesting German film based on the same real-life case that The Exorcism of Emily Rose was. Requiem is about a religious girl with epilepsy that has a mental break during her first year at university. A Tired Pancake, which I love that name so much, asked if I have any recommendations like Dogtooth. Dogtooth being another Yorgos film, just like Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer. There is just nothing like those films, but something that is focused on the upbringing of a child and their warped sense of self from their upbringing is a Russian film that is really well done called Wolfie. This is a dark drama about a woman who neglects her daughter and the consequences it has on her upbringing and interaction with other humans. I will say this one is hard to find, but it is so worth it. Another one that might be a little bit easier to find is the 2015 French horror called Evolution. This one is about a small, strange seaside community that is made up of only women and young boys. And one day, a young boy named Nicholas starts questioning his surroundings. Aaron asks if I have a similar recommendation to Donnie Darko, and I actually do, and it's one that people don't talk about. I'm talking about The Jacket, starring Adrian Brody, Keira Knightley, and Daniel Craig. The film is about a war veteran who is sent to a mental institution where he is subjected to strange treatments that change his perspective on time. And that's just put lightly. It's a trippy film that hit me hard. Brunch for Days asks for an underwater creature feature. I really enjoyed Underwater, the sci-fi horror from earlier this year. I thought that the tension was well done and the creatures were terrifying. Starring Kristen Stewart, the film is about deep water researchers that are trying to get back to the surface after an earthquake risks their lives. And if you haven't seen the South Korean horror The Host, it's also worth a spin. The film is a drama adventure horror about a monster that emerges from the Han River. Last one today from Film and Movie Fanatic. Sorry, I cut off the top of your name in this, but it's Film and Movie Fanatic. Thank you for your question. They ask for claustrophobic horrors like The Shining or The Lighthouse. There are so many of these, especially recently, like The Shallows, Hush, or The Lodge, which you need to watch if you haven't. But if you want the most claustrophobic film, you can't go any further than the thriller that is Buried. Starring Ryan Reynolds, this is about a truck driver who gets buried alive, and the whole movie is just him inside the coffin. It's more compelling than it sounds, and it's a great tense film. I also think it's likely the most isolated anyone can ever get. Frozen, not to be confused with the animated film, is a very suspenseful thriller horror about 3 skiers who become stranded on a chairlift. It's pretty chilling, mind the pun. I'm so sorry. And a film I highly recommend, which is a little bit more classic, just like The Shining, is Hour of the Wolf. From 1968, this Swedish drama horror is about an artist that is haunted by the past while vacationing on a remote island. And there you go, guys. Those are all the recommendations I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If there was just 1 or 2 recommendations that you had not heard of before, please let me know down below. Let me know how I'm doing. If you enjoy these videos, give it a thumbs up, and I'll hopefully be doing these more often. I really do love finding them and picking apart different films I've watched over the years and putting them into a video for you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I make 2 videos every single week, and if you want me in your subscription box giving you more recommendations all the time, you just need to hit subscribe. It's free. Also, a huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring me. Sponsors means I can keep creating this content, guys, so huge thumbs up to them, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky. Bye, guys. Hi, my name is Emma, and let's talk spooky stuff. I mean, we can if we wanna.